Your grandfather never read Marcus Aurelius. He never studied Stoic philosophy. He probably never heard the word Stoicism in his life. And yet, he lived it every single day. That generation didn't need books to teach them how to be men. They learned it from their fathers, from the war, from hardship, from life. They carried weight we can barely imagine, and they carried it in silence. No therapists, no self-help books, no podcasts about mental health. Just duty, faith, and the quiet understanding that complaining doesn't fix anything. Somewhere along the way, we forgot what they knew. Today, I want to remind you. My grandfather was a child during the war, but he was shaped by men who fought in it. His father, his uncles, his neighbours, an entire generation of men who had seen things they would never speak about. Men who came home from beaches and battlefields, hung up their uniforms, and went back to work. No parades for most of them, no medals on the wall, just quiet service, and the expectation that you do what needs to be done. My grandfather owned a toy shop, a man fiercely loyal to his family, building a life his 3 daughters could be proud of. One day, he was offered the chance to be the sole UK distributor for a new American toy, a doll for boys. He looked at it and said, "That'll never take off." That doll was G.I. Joe, Action Man. He turned down a fortune. And you know what he said about it? Nothing, not once. My grandfather had a saying, "Never cry over spilt milk." 6 words, no philosophy degree required. 2,000 years ago, Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." My grandfather said the same thing in 6 words over a cup of tea. He turned down millions, made a decision he couldn't undo, watched someone else build an empire on the opportunity he passed up. And he never complained, never dwelt on it, never let it poison his peace, because the milk was already spilt. What good would crying do? That's not something he read in a book. That's something his generation understood in their bones. You cannot control the past, only your response to it. That generation didn't ask, "What makes me happy?" They asked, "What needs to be done?" Duty came first, feelings came last, if they came at all. You worked because your family needed you to work. You stayed because your children needed you to stay. You sacrificed, because that's what men did. Not for praise, not for recognition, because it was right. There was no debate, no negotiation, just responsibility. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Your grandfather didn't argue about it. He just was one. He didn't need a quote to tell him. He had a family to feed and a duty to fulfill. My grandfather was a mason, a man of faith, a man of principles, a man who believed in something bigger than himself. That generation built their lives on foundations we've forgotten. Church on Sunday, grace before meals, the belief that your word was your bond, and your honor was worth more than your bank account. They weren't perfect. They didn't claim to be. But they knew that a man without faith is a man without an anchor, adrift, searching for meaning in all the wrong places. Today we chase money, status, likes on a screen, and wonder why we feel empty. Jesus said, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" Your grandfather understood that. He didn't chase the world. He built a home. He raised a family. He kept his soul intact. There's an old proverb, "A society grows great when old men plant trees, whose shade they will never sit in." Your grandfather planted trees, not for himself, for you. every sacrifice he made, every long day at work, every quiet struggle he never mentioned. It was for the next generation, for his children, for his grandchildren, for you. He didn't ask what he would get out of it. He already knew the answer, nothing, and that was fine. The Stoics called this legacy. The Masons called this building. The faithful called this stewardship. Your grandfather just called it being a man. He didn't need a word for it. He just did it. Somewhere along the way, we lost this. We traded duty for comfort, faith for distraction, silence for complaint. We talk about our feelings more than ever and feel worse than ever. We have more choices than any generation in history and less direction, more connection than ever and more loneliness, more freedom than ever and more anxiety. Your grandfather didn't have 100 options. He had responsibility, and that made life simpler. Not easier, simpler. He knew what mattered: family, faith, work, honor. We've complicated everything and forgotten the basics. Maybe it's time to remember. So, here's the question. What would your grandfather think of the man you are today? Would he recognize the values he passed down? Would he see duty or distraction, faith or fear, strength or softness? You can't go back to his world, but you can carry his wisdom forward. Never cry over spilt milk. Do what needs to be done. Build for those who come after. That's not ancient philosophy. That's your grandfather. That's the man you come from. And that's the man you can still become. Be worthy of him. Strength, duty, legacy,